Hello and welcome back to another episode of It's a Man's World podcast with your host Ciara Rossi. Today I have a very special guest, Collys from also Dublin as well, another person from Ireland that we are both online coaches. We've both come from kind of the same background, same area, and it's his first podcast as well, which is really exciting. The business that he's built over the last couple of years, his clients, his results, his reputation, and a big thing for me and the reason why I've been really excited to have him onto the podcast is because of how much he practices gratitude, journaling, how appreciative he is towards life and his mindset. So I really think that you're going to take a lot from this podcast today. Hopefully you do. But I'm going to let you introduce yourself into who you are and just to give us a little bit of background, because I actually only know you kind of briefly. So I'm sure I'm going to learn a little bit about yourself today.
Yeah, so firstly, thanks so much for having me on. It's a privilege, especially coming from yourself. Background like yours, same as mine, like the areas we come from, and seeing you thrive, Ciara, is phenomenal. So I just wanted to compliment you at the start of this podcast because it's so inspiring, even from my side and everyone else's side, and then both of us being here is absolutely class, So yeah, so my name's Collys MacDonald. I'm an online fitness coach, dog lover, food lover, gratitude practicer. Yeah, that's me in a nutshell for an introduction.
Deadly. And you've obviously only recently transformed and changed over your business to a new name.
Yeah, so scaling up, taking after your footsteps, regards to so basically building a team now, taking on some coaches, taking on a team to help build the business even higher. So it's called resilience coaching. A lot to do with the kind of gratitude side of things as well, because just going through life in general, no matter who you are, what you have, we're always going to go through some shit, no matter what, and when you're going through some shit, it's the resilience that's really going to take you to the other side and finding out parts of yourself who you truly are. So I just wanted to correlate also the mindset side of things, because I'm so big into it, self-development, reading books, and then obviously changing physiques as well. Putting that together, resilience seemed to be the correct way to go about it,
Love that, deadly. I'm excited to see what that's going to hold this year, because it's definitely booming at the minute.
Yeah.
But how did you get into fitness, and where did this all start? Because I actually don't really kind of know where this all began.
Right, so won't get too deep about it, but so essentially as a kid growing up, like most kids, would play sports and so forth. But me as a child, my mother was saying, I was very anxious, very afraid of everything, and a good mother that I have pushed me into playing sports. And that's where kind of the confidence grew, playing hurling and Gaelic football from the age of 5 years old all the way up to the age of 30 years old. But then getting into the later years, I think, as we all do, going through our teenage years, we almost are insecure because the other sex is coming around and so forth. And when we were growing up, Ciara, you remember this, not many people were into the gym. It wasn't even really a thing.
Definitely not. It wasn't a big thing.
Literally, I think about even going from, let's say, 18, 19, 20, no one was in the gym.
Oh.
Nobody was even knew what cardio was or macro was, or there was probably, I'm a good bit older than you, 3 or 4 years, but even Instagram was only coming around when I was maybe 20, 22. And now what it's come into is absolutely nuts. And it's amazing, because seeing Ireland and Dublin and the whole world pushing towards fitness is great. But just to answer your question, I'd say just being a little bit insecure was one of the main reasons why I started lifting weights, and then just absolutely fell in love with it. And I never thought it would come to a stage where lifting weights and going to the gym and living a healthy life could give us the life like you and I have right now, So, yeah, that would be it.
Amazing. And was this something that you've ever thought about doing, or was it?
I'll give you the background story, essentially, how my coaching started. It's nuts, because if anyone out there has an idea, and you just never know where it's going to take it, essentially. So I was working full-time for Dublin GAA. It's kind of like a PE teacher. You'd go into schools, teaching children in primary schools, hurling and Gaelic football, and it's PE classes going in and out. I loved that job. I truly did. But the pay in the job was okay. But I just thought to myself that I would like to make some money on the side on top of doing my full-time job. And originally it was, if you go all the way back to my Instagram page, it was a nutrition business. So I went back to college studying nutrition. I've always been obsessed with nutrition. I don't know what it was. I just loved macros, trying what food done this and what done that. And I just want to say, right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to continue working full-time, and I'm going to get my qualifications in nutrition, and I'm going to sell nutrition plans. And originally I was thinking, because I was involved in the GAA, I'm going to go around speaking to teams how to fuel themselves better for matches, or help people get in better body compositions for matches. That was the goal, and that was it.
Crazy.
It had nothing to do with PT. It had nothing to do with anything like that. And luckily, it's like the universe always just gives to you early in life when you don't even realize what's going on. I got given, very luckily, a €2,000 free PT course. I think I was like in 2013, and it was free. I was like, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Never done anything with it. Just let it go. Went back to work, and then before we knew it, I was got my nutrition qualifications, and then I was just like, hold on a second here. I says, people do want nutrition and training at the same time. Let's put it together. So what came to be me, just wanted to make a bit of money on the side while I'm working in a job that I do enjoy, came to giving me a life that honestly I still can't believe to this very day. Like I sit on my balcony in the marina looking down the marina view, and honestly I sit there and I'm like, how am I here?
Yeah.
How has this happened to
real.
how has this happened to my life? You know, and I'm a reverse engineer, and like, you know this as well as anyone, Ciara, it's like we don't reflect enough. I was like, worked tirelessly.
Yeah.
Literally, like I was working full time, like 5 days a week full time, and then full time coaching at the same time. And I got to a stage where I was like working 7 days a week for a year straight, like, and like it was non-stop. But reflect back on that, I was like, that's what got me here.
Yeah.
It was the consistency, it was the discipline. I was not going drinking anymore. I was like putting everything into this business. And you know this again more than anyone else. The more energy you put into something, you're always going to get it back.
Always.
It might not show up straight away. It might be 1 week, 2 weeks, a year, but just keep showing up and something will come back around. And then before you know it, you're just sitting there and you're like, where am I?
Summed up together nearly.
Exactly, and this makes a lot of sense. So yeah, that's how it all came about. It was always just to make a few extra €100 a week on top of my wage. And now we're sitting here, me and you in a podcast in Dubai. Never would have thought it in a million years, you know?
It's amazing, and I think their instant gratitude, people want things there and then. We nearly want it yesterday, and I think with social media and how fast technology is moving, like you get things at the touch of your button, especially living in Dubai. You want a coffee delivered to your door, it's coming in 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's nuts.
If you want your weighing scale delivered, it can come in 20 minutes, and like everything, like even if you want to deliver something, the postman will come and pick it up for you in the next hour and drop it to someone. Like we don't really think about, when you think about it, like we have everything at the touch of a button. That it's scary that you nearly need to, when you're living in a place like this, if anyone is listening that's in Dubai or somewhere that's kind of a high kind of standard lifestyle, you would say that you have to nearly bring yourself back down to the basics and be like
100%. I have a funny story, like if we come from humble backgrounds, and that'll never leave us no matter what. But I was obviously here, I mean, we actually moved at the same time, believe it or not. It was close, it was like September 2022. I remember you and Josh made the move, and it was literally the same as me. But I've been here a year straight, end up going home, visiting family and so forth. And I pull up to the petrol station. I was just sitting there. I was like, still sitting there. I was like, oh, just so anyone that doesn't know, people come and fill your car up for you in the boys. You don't even let you fill up your own gas. They fill it up for you. Sitting there, oh yeah, I have to get out.
Yeah.
So like you said that, like it's just like everything is just so on demand here, but it's almost not real life. It's quite a bubble here in the boys. So I think it's important to take yourself out of it every now and then. And it makes you, when you come back, be so grateful for what it is, what it has to offer. Yeah. But I wanted to touch on what you said there as well about like instant gratification.
Yes.
Like it's just, there is no such thing. And like I see living here, I think you really have to be in a good mindset to not compare yourself to anyone else. Everyone's on their own journey. Like this is the way I put it, I said to my friend the other day, if you are comparing yourself to people in Dubai, you will be miserable for the rest of your life. There's millionaires, billionaires here, and you're trying to chase all these. Just be better than you were yesterday. It's all that matters. Self-reflect. This is something that nobody does, whether you're in a period in your life, you're in college or going through school or you're in a job or whatever. Reflect back, and this is where the gratitude comes in. Look where you were 5 years ago. Look where you are now. Look where you were a year ago. Look where you are now. There's no doubt you're going to make some improvements. Use that to give yourself some faith to push forward again, saying, right, I went from this position to this position. How can I go now from this position to that position? You're going to have to back yourself, you know, but just don't worry about what anyone else is doing. I think it's just massively important because I think you probably did, and I have in the past played victim, looking on Instagram and everything else. But I'm in a really good spot in my life, a lot to do with the gratitude practice, that I'm grateful for what I have, and I'll be grateful for what I work for, and whatever is meant to come from me, that'll be for me, and that's okay, you know?
Yeah, and I think if it's not, you'll go and find it because you've done that before. And I think the whole thing has come around to passion. it weighed out, it came with your 2 jobs and you love both of them, but it's like, how do you find out which one? Well, one drew you more towards the other. So this is you're like me, you love changing lives, you love helping people, you love seeing a transformation as much as it's a physical transformation when you hear from someone's check-in and read it where they're talking to themselves totally different and confidence is beaming through. It's just the best feeling ever. You get something back from it. And I just think to give something of yourself, this is what my Uncle Des said, to give something of yourself is more important than anything in the world, material possessions, anything, but give back to the world from yourself.
Absolutely. You'll like this one. I'm a quote affirmation king. I love them, and my favourite ever quote is, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but they'll never forget how you made them feel.
Yes.
Us as coaches, people won't forget you for the rest of their life, and that comes in good and bad terms, but hopefully more so good. But how someone makes you feel sticks with you forever. And we're very, very lucky to be able to help people and make them feel a certain way and see them change and grow. It's a blessing, like you said. I mean, that's your passion, and you get to do that every day. It's just like what I'm going to allude to here is what you just said. It's basically follow your passion. It's the one way you're going to be happy. I know, and it's important that we do have to pay bills and we do have to do these things and all. If you follow what you truly want to do and be really happy, you won't think as much about finances, and you'll be thinking more so, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing,
The money is a bonus on the sides.
Exactly.
I think as well with that, like especially looking back on what you said there about Dubai, when you first come to a new place, maybe a new environment, but especially a place like this, in Dubai, you come into Banús, you see these girls that are in incredible shape, you see these lads that are 10 times the size of you, and you instantly doubt yourself, you doubt your capabilities, you're kind of scared and nervous at the start to go on to different things, you're looking at other people in the mirror, and your brain and your subconscious, before you even know, is telling you you're not as good as these people. And if you can't like automatically switch your mindset and literally tell yourself, I'm working on myself. I literally put myself into a bubble. So my therapist told me, put yourself into a bubble. What colour do you think it is? And I'm like, right, it's like a baby pinky colour, obviously. Right. And it's wrapped around me. And whenever something is coming in, you just like bounce it back off and you don't take it, because it's like, you're putting yourself down straight away. These people aren't even looking at you. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And it's all inside your head. So I think that's a big thing, no matter where you are, not just Dubai. If you're going out on a night out with your friends and you're in a dress and you're looking at someone else and you're like, God, they look great, I feel shit now. It's like, but did you not feel good before you seen that person? You did. So you've just taken that full compliment back off yourself. And then same thing, money. Like if you're here in Dubai and you're looking at someone with money, like you're never ever gonna match their limits, because these people are mega billionaires. But same thing, you don't know what someone's going through. You don't know whether they're super happy. We could be more happy than majority of people that have all this money. But in saying that, I think this is where it comes down to knowing who you are, staying true to your authentic self, because that's something I've honestly always done. And then I can say, honestly, hand on heart, environment is a lot, big time. And I am so grateful and I love being here. But I can also be anywhere in the world and still be happy.
That's because you have true self-value to who you are. I love what you said there about saying stay true to yourself. On my whiteboard in my apartment, day one I moved here, big whiteboard. I've always had whiteboards. Just for anyone at home, if you haven't got a whiteboard, get a whiteboard. Honestly, let your goals look at you every single day. I'm cutting across myself a little bit here, but I love the story because it's true. So back when I lived in my mum's house, I had a tiny whiteboard on the back of the door. When I got my first apartment in Dublin, big whiteboard in the room. Apartment now, big whiteboard. And I call it a magic whiteboard, no pun intended. Everything I've ever put on them whiteboards has come true. I mean that from the bottom of my soul. Everything, unimaginable things. Wow. I've manifested things into existence that written on them whiteboards that has come to fruition. And I'm like, now when I write stuff on that whiteboard, I'm like, I know that's happening. Yeah. I never used to think that way before. They'd just go up and they'd happen, or I'd just go up and let them forget about them. Now I'm like, my friends, they laugh, they write, put it on the whiteboard, Collys. Yeah. They literally say that because it's going to come true. And it's like, put on the whiteboard, I'm going to win €1 million, you know? But like, I'm not joking. We'll jump into the whole manifestation side of things too. But it's a whiteboard and just having that goal and a realistic goal to what you really want to achieve bit by bit. And right, sorry, if I'm actually wrong to say that. Right, unrealistic goals too. Yeah. I'm probably
scare yourself.
Yeah, scare yourself, exactly. It's not like, oh, I just want to make that amount of money or I want to do this. It's looking at them goals daily. And even though you like, I see some of them up there, right? This is the nuts thing here. I see them up on the whiteboard every day and I'm on the laptop or whatever. And I was like, I forget about them. I forget I'm looking at them. But then before I know it, I'm like, that's done. Or that's nearly there. You know, so it's just that visual. It's like in the book Atomic Habits.
Yeah.
That it's just like having a visual in front of you is like almost just sinking into your brain little by bit, day by day. You know, so a whiteboard for me goes such a long way. It really does. It's just like if I move into a new house now tomorrow, I'll look at a whiteboard before I look at a couch.
Yeah.
That's the way I would look at it. Like, you know,
amazing.
The manifesting side of things. So with the journaling, manifestation, the universe, like I have become an absolute spiritual freak over the past year. I say that in a good term. It's like someone that's in great shape is like he's a freak in a good way.
Right,
so I'm proud to talk about it and I'd say it out loud.
Yeah.
A big part of this like being I call it being spiritually awoken. And just so for anyone who doesn't know out there, spiritually awoken doesn't essentially mean religion. It doesn't mean being a Catholic, a Protestant, Muslim, any of these things. Is for me, and this is what's important to articulate here, what your spiritual awakening essentially is how you start viewing the world differently. That's the big thing. It's like you almost get things called synchronicities and you're getting signs from the universe and you're like, but they're only shown to you, they're not shown to someone else. So I could be like to you, Ciara. For example, a lot of people see numbers 11, 11 and so forth, never. But when you see them at a specific time or what you were thinking out the time before, it could be a sign for you, you know. But since I've kind of went down this spiritual route, it's like, we're going to talk obviously about perspective too. Everything started to change for me. Well, one of my favorite quotes is another one. When you change the way you look at things, the things that you look at change.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. So me and you could be going through a situation, okay? Mm-hmm. And this situation leaves you bedridden. You're in bed crying for weeks on end. The exact same thing happens to me and I'm absolutely fine. The only difference was the perspective on the situation. You know, no, we are emotional beings. We do go through things and how things affect us. But your thoughts and your actions are always yours. I've always said that from day one. And like, it's okay to be emotional. It's okay to cry. It's okay to do all these things. But at the same time is when you change the way you look at things, the things that you look at change. So I'm like, right, this thing is that happened to me. This is fucking shit. But I always look at it like this, part of the spiritual part of it, saying like, there's something better down the road for me. And that's why that's happening to me now. So for anyone that's at home looking at this or listening to this, or you're going through a hard time, or actually, if you ever went through a hard time to begin with, okay, think back, let's just say it was a year ago, 2 years ago, I bet you can find a reason saying, I'm glad that happened now.
Yeah.
100%. Everything's for your growth. Mm-hmm. So every time we're going through some shit, it's for your growth. And that's essentially it, you know?
Yeah, amazing. And I think everything does happen for a reason. You meet people for a reason. And when you're in the time there and then, anyone that's listening as well that is struggling at the minute or is going through a patch and they're like, oh my God, you're out in Dubai right now recording that, you wouldn't really know. We've been through it. We're still going through it. We deal with business and people on the daily. It's not easy. As much as this is great and we can do it at 11 o'clock on a Wednesday morning, it's a privilege. It's amazing. But we also go through the shit that no one sees. And I think people think we just sit at a laptop all day and go to the gym and then sit on the beach. And we're like, that is not how it goes. The day is literally split up into hours on end of hard, disciplined work that I get so passionate about that because I'm like, no one sees what goes on and you know.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about spiritual awakening there, I remember when I met you the first time when we came back to Dubai and I was like, God, he has changed massively. And I remember being like, what the hell? Like, that's just crazy. And I think that word spiritual awakening literally has just like, that's just you. Because I remember when I met you at home and we were two different people, so was I. But like, as you said, not the partier, but like, that's what I would have nearly known you for.
Of course.
And same like me, back in the years, like you would still be going out. That's how we kind of bump into each other or whatever. But I think now when you look at even the conversations that we have, and we call it wheelchair Wednesdays with the legs is, and then the Stairmaster chats, and it's never negativity on the Stairmasters. Do you ever notice that if we're having the chats? It's always good, positive vibes, or we'll be chatting about, that's a good idea, what do you think I could do with this? Or we're talking about work and we're always thinking about a growth and positive mindset. And think about the conversations that you meet with people on the daily. You walk into the gym and you meet the person on the desk. Oh, the weather's shit today. Right, great. Yeah, right, moving on. Oh, that machine is broke as fucking shit in here. Okay, Grant, can I not use something else? I paid for this membership. There's 20 other thousand machines and you're complaining about one machine.
Yeah.
You go out your car, for fuck's sake, I have to get out and get petrol. It's like, you can actually do all of those things. You can go and get petrol. You can go to the gym. You can walk. You're healthy. You can see. You can smell, taste. And it's like, why do we fixate on the negatives so much all the time? That it's like, please, if you are listening, like, as much as people say, oh, positive mindset, use are these mad health gurus, not like, yeah, we actually are. We are. And I'm happy on heart to say that as well. And I'm sure you are too.
Absolutely. You have to portray that life because that's who we are. It's like being authentic as much as you can. Of course, we have negative thoughts. We're human beings, but it's your choice if you want to let them in or not. Like, you know, I want to talk about something that you said there, and you like this. I made this up myself. It was weird. I didn't get it from anywhere from what I know of. Anyway, so you're talking about past Ciara and past Collys, okay? And I just came up with this, and I was just like, it gives me so much faith for the future, and it makes me just feel so good in general. So put past Ciara and past Collys sitting to our left here, like literally I mean a physical 5 years ago Ciara, 5 years ago Collys here, right? Let them sit there, let them look at us, okay? And this is what I say, reflect on your past successes to motivate you to move forward again. But what I'm alluding to here is that, like, me having a spiritual awakening, me believing in the universe, me believing that everything that happens for a reason, I'm sure you can agree with this too. If he was sitting there right now and he was looking at me, speaking about this right now, he would be saying, he is mad.
Yeah.
And I can literally say that, no problem. He'd be looking at me saying, what do you mean the universe? What do you mean manifestation? What do you mean gratitude? I'll be probably giving him shit, to be honest with you. But that gives me great confidence because that shows your growth. Because at the end of the day, right, we're fitness people. We love getting into great shape. And when you're getting into great shape, you can see your body physically change. Mental growth you cannot see. So I use this exercise. I'd say, look at past Collys. Yeah, he would call me a weirdo. Yeah, he would give me shit. But that's how much I've grown as a man since then. And if you can look at past Ciara and who she used to be and who you are now, it's like you just said a few minutes ago. I was like, he's not the same dude anymore. Because he's after waking him up, you know. So anyone use that exercise to say, look at your past self and look at you now. Because for me personally, seeing self-growth and self-development feels better than seeing me getting bigger biceps or bigger legs. You know, so that exercise is just always a powerful for me, saying, Jesus. And usually how you can use that exercise, or how you can see your growth, is when someone tests you. So someone triggers you. So, for example, you could say something to me, and 2 years ago, that would have hurt my feelings. 2 years ago, it would have been, you said something, and over the head. Yeah. I was like, whoa, a few years ago, that would have really upset me. So you know you're starting to value yourself a lot more, and you know who you are from, like your authentic self is. Yeah. You know, so it goes such a long way, you know? Yeah,
definitely. And I think if my old self was sitting there, I would never been even had the confidence to interview someone. Now you're like, you're the pro care, you go ahead. And I'm like, I would never been like that. Like I would have been like the shy person thinking, questioning, oh my God, what's going on? What am I doing? What'll I say? And then I remember when I done an interview about even 3 years ago, I was doing a podcast, and I remember just sitting there and I was blank. I couldn't even get words out. I was like, wait, I actually froze, and I was like, what was the question? I wasn't even at the podcast. I wasn't even listening because there was so much going on that I was actually not even sitting there present, because I was like, I'm not here. That's not me. Am I doing that right now? I think it's the same with a client. They go into a gym even, and you're asking them to maybe record an exercise, and they're like, here, I recorded that. Me, like, look back at your past self. Would you have ever taken out a tripod? No, you wouldn't. Would you have ever been vulnerable and sent your photos of it to someone? Absolutely not. Yeah. Would you have said no to drinking when someone is forcing you into doing it? No, I would have just done it because I would have felt like a weirdo if not. And I've said no a lot of times, but there has been times when I've been pushed into the corner and I've been felt like I need to give someone an explanation. I used to get that in the gym as well. When I met people, they'd literally pull at me, like touch my clothes, like, and be like, this is only a few years ago, and be like, oh, the material and like that Rossi part, like, and I'd be mid-set, and like Jade was like, Ciara, that's not okay for someone to do that. Yeah. She was like, Ciara, that's too much. Like, you need to put a boundary down and say to someone, okay, like, you're kind of in my space at the minute. Can you not do that? Now, I know some people aren't intentional, but some people have backed me into, how much is your apartment a month? How much do you do this? And I'm like, wow. Yeah. But now I'm like, that's okay. People are curious, and I'm like, I have good answers to people now. I'm like, oh, it's good, but yeah, you don't need to know. Don't need to tell. 100%. I always felt like I needed to tell someone a full answer to make myself feel okay. I used to have to feel like I needed to explain, this is why I'm doing this. Same with prep. I was so nervous about doing it, and that shows like all that growth, amazing. But I was still at a point when I was like, my mum is gonna lose she's gonna lose it when she knows I'm doing this prep. And I was like, she's not the person getting on the stage. She's not the person that's, I'm going to be the person having a regret, you know? Absolutely.
I love what you spoke about there. And this is why you're a really good coach, and this is why you're really successful. I use the same sort of coaching analogies with all my clients too, because again, we're not just talking about clients and their physiques, their mindset. A great coach will highlight the mindset side of things for their clients. Like you said, that someone that wouldn't record the video before than they did, we must highlight that for them. Or someone that missed the training session, I said, I went back on my rest day and got it done. I was like, would you have done that in the past? No, that's growth. That is you thinking, I have to do the things that I'm supposed to do even when I don't want to do them. That's what growth is in a nutshell. Doing the things that you don't want to do, especially when you don't want to do them. Because I think here a lot of people think that myself, yourself, or anyone that's like in the fitness industry that was motivated all the time. Just motivated 24/7. I was just like, yeah, let's go do it. Couldn't be any further from the truth. Motivation fluctuates like on a daily basis. Whether it's your discipline of showing up for yourself, which is probably the most important thing you'll ever do. I speak about that in my stories. Show up for yourself. Show up for yourself. That's who you have to show up for. Like, don't prove others wrong. Prove yourself right. I love that one. Do you know what I mean? Just keep proving yourself right. I am who I say I am. Like I actually said this to Josh. We were speaking, walking down the marina or whatever. And when I got to bed every night, this might sound crazy to some people, but I say to myself, I affirmate to myself, I know who I am. Every single night, I know who I am. That's all that truly matters. And if you stay true and know who you are, everything external doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Like if you are, it's like you people saying, oh, what about this and what about that, Ciara? Are you making this? Are you doing that and all? Doesn't matter. I know what my truth is, and that's all that really matters at the end of the day, you know?
Yeah, and that's when opinions of what people are saying about you or what they're thinking, or even at home, I know there has been a few things that have come up where people are wondering and saying stuff about me. Well, what does she do in the company? I'm like, what? Just because I've got coaches on the team and I've got a big team now, it's like, well, what does she do? Nothing. Yeah, I kick back, girls, and I sit at the pool all day. Absolutely not. Like, you know what I mean? But I don't let that affect me, because I'm like, okay, that's no problem. You don't need to know what I do, because I know what I do.
Exactly. Granddad said something to me once and always stuck with me. And he said to me, you could be feeding homeless children in the street and people will still have something to say about it.
Yeah.
That always just stuck with me. I don't know how smart he was trying to sound, but it had layers on it.
Yeah.
When he said it that day, I was just like, it's true. It doesn't matter what you do, Colley. People are going to talk about it.
Yeah.
And just keep doing what you want to do and what you feel is right in your heart. And that's all that matters, you know? So it definitely goes a long way for sure.
Definitely. So I want to touch on the gratitude and the journaling side of things, because I do see you every single morning without fail putting up your gratitude journal and what you're writing it. Does practicing gratitude, can it be the same things every day, or can it be different? Because I want to know, like, where did this journal come from and why did you start writing and how did it change? Because people say, would you stop journal? I'm like, I want to know where this stem from and what it means to you.
So I'll say where it came from and then I'll talk through, because I get asked all the time, how do you do it? So we'll go through that. So essentially my ex-girlfriend would have been extremely spiritual. This was a time that I wasn't spiritual at all. So she'd be talking about manifestation, journaling, the universe, the vibrations, frequencies, energy.
Love it.
And I would be like, in my head,
Thinking.
she's mad.
Yeah.
She's mad. Do you know what I mean? Like, and like, I was like on my own self-development journey at the time, but more so from reading books. Like I got really into reading books, like massively. But reading books and again, like having, let's say, a spiritual awakening are two different areas altogether. They sound like they correlate a lot, like again, like energy and manifestation, and then obviously reading self-development books and growth mindset, but they're actually very different. But she used to do them and so forth, and she says to me, just practice gratitude one day. And I'll never forget it, because the date I started, on every single page, I haven't missed one day since the 11th of the 11th, 22. Wow. It sounds like I'm making that up. I swear, my mother's life, the 11th, 11th, 22 was the first day I wrote it down. And every single page, I have 7 books full to the top of every day dated and signed with gratitude. I'll get into this now, 5 things I'm grateful for, and I write 5 affirmations. So I always say, like you said this already, people come into your life for a reason. That was a gift from that girl that she gave to me. Amazing. Because how gratitude has changed my life. I always say gratitude is everything, is amazing. So that's a gift from that girl. So that's essentially how it started. But I'll compliment myself on this one. I don't usually compliment myself too often. I'm a very consistent person. Yeah. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Yeah. And I always say this I have it on my whiteboard as well. I don't break promises to myself. No. I promise myself I'm going to do something. You have to see it through. It doesn't matter how long it takes. This is what some people should take from at home. Don't expect to get there next week, 1 month, 1 year, but promise yourself you're going to do it. Yeah. Promise yourself in your heart that I'm going to change. I want to see the change in my life, whether it's your business or you want to lose weight. Just don't let it go, because anyone can give up. So I heard the saying before. A fella said to me in the gym, he's a poily, he was 50. He says, do you know how easy giving up is? Anyone on planet Earth can do it.
Yeah.
You know, anyone on planet Earth can't be resilient. Not anyone on planet Earth can persevere, you know. But the gratitude, so how I do it is, I write 5 things I'm grateful for. By the way, this is kind of made up, because there's no, I get messages all the time off people on Instagram. How do you do it? Is it okay to write the same thing every day? Like you asked me, it's gas that you asked me this, because people ask me all the time. And essentially, so I write 5 things I'm grateful for and 5 affirmations. And I repeat myself all the time. What's wrong with that? I'm grateful for my family.
Same things.
Like, not every single day. Sometimes I switch, but there's a few of them that I keep the same.
Of course.
Most days. So the first one, I can actually do a little overlay of this and show it.
Yeah.
The first one every single day is I am grateful for my life.
Yeah.
Every single day. That's on the top of the list for the last 16 months. Hasn't been missed. You know, and then it's stuff like I'm grateful for my health, grateful for my family. Because I think we spoke about this when we seen each other last week. It's like, it's actually, you think that you want the cars or the house or all of these things, but when you take away, so for an example, if you take away one of my family members, my life changes drastically. If you take away the roof over my head, my home changes drastically. If you have no food, your life changes. So grateful for the little things and just writing them down. For example, this happened to me the other day. This is weird, right? But just lying in bed, eyes were closed. And it just came into my mind that I never thought this before. And I was just like, imagine I was blind. How different my life would be. You know, the first gratitude that morning was like, after I'm grateful for my life, I'm grateful for my sight. Just reflect a little bit sometimes of like how lucky we are to have the things that we have in our life. And when you start your day, this is the thing. I was like, when I get up out of bed in the morning, it's more or less the first thing. I sit on the balcony and I look down the marina, and don't have to have a marina to do this, by the way. Put it on your bedside locker, but just don't miss it. But it's what a way to start your day, to say, Jesus, I am absolutely blessed in so many ways, you know? And your day can only go from there. So if you're waking up in bad humour, write down what you're grateful for. I guarantee you won't be in bad humour for much longer, you know? Then just to answer the question again, so the 5 things I'm grateful for can be the same, can be different. I want to say this as well. I'm cutting across myself so much here, but the important thing when you're practicing gratitude is that when you're writing down what you're writing down, you have to feel it. It's not okay just to be, sorry, I'm not going to say it's not okay, but like just writing down, I'm grateful for my life. I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for my family. Jump up, run out the door.
Grab the phone. I'm
gone. You need to feel the words that you are writing on your page. That's how gratitude works. So when I'm thinking like, I'm grateful for my family, I'm thinking I'm so grateful for my mother, my sister, to have them people in my life. You know, just so, and then you're talking about my life. Your life can be taken away tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. Nothing's guaranteed. So like when you're writing down the words that you're writing, what you're grateful for, think about the person that you're thinking of, thinking about the thing that you're thinking of onto the page, and feel it in your heart. That's how practicing gratitude works. So feel free to repeat yourself, feel free to mix it up, but be truly grateful. The last one is I write 5 affirmations. So I am. So there's a great book that we'll talk about. It's called Think and Grow Rich. And essentially it's like filling your subconscious mind over and over and over again of saying you are who you say you are. So like I will be like, I am successful. There's one that I write down every single day. This one never misses either. I'm honest with myself.
Yeah.
I write that down every day. I'm being honest with myself, because at the end of the day, right, this is part of the spiritual awakening side of things. Is that everyone, and I mean everyone on planet Earth, I'm sure, has that feeling or has that voice inside of them that speaks to them. And this is the hard part. It's trying to differentiate what's going on in here and what's going on in here. So people call it, like you say, your inner voice, your gut, your heart, your intuitive voice, whatever it be. Call it whatever you want to call it. But that is always speaking to you, no matter what. And if you listen to this, that's going to pull you in the right direction always. This is always going to say, but what about this? And what about that?
So hard.
It's the hardest thing. I haven't got it down to a T yet.
It hits me hard. Like that hits me in the stomach, because I'm like, you know, there's something there, and you're just like, but your head is so strong. Your brain is, the brain holds so many old memories and the good things, and it will always revert back to that before it touches onto the stuff that's actually there that you're feeling. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. Yeah. But it is exactly that feeling. I can also call it inner knowing. Yeah. You know, but you're ignoring it. That's what's happening. You know, but you are ignoring it. Ask yourself. I was given this exercise before,
and I don't mind sharing at all. And it's a bit out there, but I don't mind sharing whatsoever. So essentially, when you're going through a time where you're trying to make a big decision, whether if it's like in a relationship you don't want to be in anymore and you're afraid to leave it, or it's a business thing you're trying to go towards or whatever, it's like close your eyes, put your hand on your heart, and sit there and ask your body, not your mind, for the answer. And just ask it, tell me the answer. I need to know. And you might not always get it straight away, but you know, and everyone knows, it's the answer's fucking there.
Yeah.
It's there, no matter what way you want to think. And then you'll come back out again and say, oh, but what about this and that and all? That's there. So listening to that voice from within that's in your heart or in your body, well, let's just say, that's what's going to change your life. And trust you, as soon as I start staying true to myself, that's what changed everything for me.
Yeah, which is incredible though, because you're able to sit here and be you, be present, be able to explain all of that. And I'm sure anyone that's listening right now is going to be like, Jesus, I'm getting my notebook out right now. But I remember before when I asked you like a couple of weeks ago to come onto the podcast, I was thinking of like what I wanted this episode to be based around. And I was thinking of those things because I knew deep down in my subconscious, I was like, I want to do that as well. I want to learn more off you. And there's always something that you can learn off someone, and every single day as well. I always am a firm believer of that. That's why I love learning and teaching, like as I go, even listening to different podcasts of people. You learn, you can even get snippets from it. Even if you're not fully listening, you learn. But I started a couple of weeks ago when I asked you, and I was like, I'm going to write down 3 things. And when I started writing, I couldn't stop. And I was like, so this list is really big. Yeah. And then I was like, right, I'll put that to the side. I'll start tomorrow again. And in my diary every day, my diary is like jam packed, but I found a little space down the bottom every day. And I write it with my coffee in the morning. I sit down, it's like completely quiet. And there's a little bit of sun at like 7:45 that comes through these 2 buildings that like literally comes in. And it hits me like bang on the face. And it just wakes me up straight away. Before I start my day, I go into check-ins feeling energized, feeling good, feeling so grateful that I'm like, I can go downstairs to a gym in my apartment and get cardio done. I can go outside into gorgeous sunlight and get some sun. If I was at home, I would have the same mindset and the same thought process. I can get into in my warm car and I can drive to the gym. I'm going to grab myself a lovely can of Monster because I can afford that. These are things that you take for granted so much. And I think it's amazing that we're able to even speak about stuff like this, because as you said, the old Ciara and the old Collys probably would have said you are nutters, they're mad. You would, like, because that's that's what people, especially from our area, it is very hard to have an open conversation about growth or even about life and the more deeper things, even talking and touching at therapy. That wouldn't really be too normalised at home, not at home, but even in generations. Like, that's not a thing that my mum and my nana are at and would ever have even opened about. And I'm like, this is normal, you need to do it. So it's like, it's starting to become the norm, which I think, like, fitness is amazing. And I know you've had a therapist, we've spoke about this as well, and I think it goes to show the substance of the conversations that we'd be having. They're deep, they're meaningful, you're learning, you're kind of like, wow, I didn't think about it like that.
They're amazing conversations to have. They fulfill you.
Really
it's nuts, and it's great, like you said, that it's starting to come around a bit more normalised now, that people are willing to open up a little bit more. Because do you ever come into a situation where you're holding something in, okay? And like, it's great that, like I said, you're doing therapy is one of the most amazing things you could ever do. It's where you're going to find out who you truly are, like, you know. But I'm saying that, like, do you ever get, like, even if you haven't got a therapist or whatever and you're holding stuff in, do you ever get when you go and speak to someone about it and they haven't got the answers for you, they didn't fix your problem, but you just feel better because you let it out? So important, you know. So it's incredible that the world's heading in a direction now where people can speak a little bit more freely and not be afraid to say who they are or what their problems are. Because what happens is, at the back end of podcasts like this, Ciara, is that who knows that will listen to this and it's going to help them go pivot in a better direction towards that mindset, or practicing gratitude, or going to the gym, or anything that's going to give you positivity towards your life. You know,
definitely.
It's like you're talking about your cans of Monster and the sunlight and so forth. Another one of my favorite quotes is, appreciate the little things, because one day you may look back and realize they were the big things.
I love it.
You know, it's like, it's one of my favorites. It's the little things, that them moments in time with people that you love and like that you look back on. I always say this to myself all the time, because I'm thinking, because like, it's very materialistic over here in Dubai, for sure. But I'm always speaking to myself and I'm like, listen, when I'm on my deathbed, I won't think about the cars that I bought, the properties that I bought, the business and everything else. I'll think about
Who
the
you are.
and the moments I spent with people. I remember that time I went there. I remember I got to move to Dubai and all the hard work it took me to get here and these type of things. Do you know what I mean? So it's just like appreciating the small things. You will realise that that's one of the big things, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And I think touching on all of that there, nearly like summing it up, and therapy and normalising that, express yourself. Express yourself. Feel what you feel. Say what you want. I do not hold back how I feel about someone. If I feel a certain way, I'm going to say it to them. If I'm feeling unhappy or sad, I'm going to say it. Someone asked me, Mark Vation asked me yesterday in the gym, Ciara, you okay? And I was like, yeah, why? And he's a witch, by the way. I'm getting him onto the podcast.
Right.
He is like, he knows, and he can read people before
Feels
he
energy.
even knows them. Oh, he knows by the eyes. He says, show me a picture of one of your friends and I'll tell you what they're like in their star sign. Take up a picture. And he told me exactly about my friends. And I was like, wow. So I just know, and he was like, I'm feeling like, normally, like, you know me, when you see me, I'm bubbly, I'm chatty, always hello. I'd never pass anyone without a hello. If I do, oh my God, I would feel so rude, or maybe I'm in my own bubble and I need to train or something. But like, he was like, here's something up with you. And I was like, is there? And he was like, yeah. And I was thinking, I was tapping, typing, writing, Stairmaster all at the one time, and I wasn't even taking in that he was standing there. And I was like, so sorry. I was like, I've earphones in, I'm listening to something. I'm also trying to get corrections back for the girls here. I was like, wow, there's too much going on. But it's small things like that. So I think it's so important, even as a male, express yourself, say how you feel. If you're feeling shit, if you're feeling down, if you feel like you need to reach out to someone, that is the most important thing. And I think people that are struggling and going through mental health, especially, we've experienced it in my family, that touch wood, I have never experienced mental health to a degree where it would affect me on a daily basis. But if it ever did, I think I would know how to kind of handle it in a way. But it does go a little bit deeper when you're obviously medicated and stuff like that. But I think as a male, it needs to be more normalised to speak how you feel. Tell us how you feel. Are you okay? I ask Josh every day, are you okay? He's like, Ciara, stop asking me how I am. I'm like, no, but are you all right? And he's like, Ciara, yeah, why? I'm like, no, I'm just checking. And he's like, right, okay. And I get that, because my uncle Des, like, he could never get this feeling out of him. And I just want to read out a quote that he has on his plaque, because I know you love quotes that he had up. We have on a plaque in Dublin, actually in Kilmore, around the corner from
the
where
local
you
area.
are. Yeah. And it's on a plaque, and it says, Des McAleen, I think the greatest way you can feel in the world is not to make money and have material possessions. It's to give of yourself, give something and contribute.
It's beautiful.
Isn't it?
Really beautiful.
And of course, making money is amazing. It's financial freedom. But when you look at the deeper side of things and your brain and what goes on inside your mind, if you haven't got control of your life, your feelings, who you are, how you treat people, how you show up every day, everything else is just bullshit. It's
Literally.
forget about it.
Literally.
You know?
I don't like talking about finances too much in general. Like, obviously everyone's business of their own now, but like doing really well and everything else, and coming from zero money, like nothing to begin with, and then doing okay now and everything else. But I realised going through my own tough periods in life, that when I was going through hard periods, that there was no amount of money that was going to make me feel better. And that's just the truth. No, don't get me wrong. Let's be realistic. Like, money makes life easier for sure.
Of course.
But it definitely doesn't bring you happiness. And I hate that quote. Like, I'd rather cry in a Lamborghini than cry in a bleeding Fiat Punto or whatever. Like, you know, it's like, it's not true. It's not, really isn't true. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, happiness comes and goes, you know. No one's constantly happy, and that's okay. So just keep working on yourself, and things do get better, you know.
We're humans, we're not robots.
Literally. I think sometimes that's what it's looked at too much. Is like, I think we think that of ourselves too much, and that's why I'm trying to be a little bit more kind to myself, to be saying to myself, chill, it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, feel these feelings, everything's all right, you know.
Yeah, you haven't got it all figured out. That's all right as
Probably
well.
never will either, you know. We'll just keep
great.
figuring it out as we go along.
Yeah,
You know.
put the jigsaw together. But I think, just to round it up, I always ask people at the end of the podcast as well a question. But I think, just to bring it all into summary for people that are listening right now, win the morning, win the day. How you start your day is how, whatever way your day is going to go, you start the morning. If you've got a shit morning, you don't make your bed, you're groggy, you're running out the door, you're stressed, your whole day is just a domino effect of that. I'm sure you agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then another one is practicing gratitude and journaling, and just trying. It's not something that you have to do, but is there a reason why you probably should, or why people should, just so that we can kind of give them a little bit of a summary?
Yeah, I kind of alluded to it earlier on in the sense of like, think about it, right? You can wake up all over the place and so forth. You have 2 minutes to write down 10 sentences. No matter what you want to say, at what time you have,
2
you have
seconds.
literally, it doesn't even take you 120 seconds to write it down. But when you start writing down what you're grateful for, your day can only go up, because like if you haven't gone through shit and ask, well, like, what can I be happy about? You know, like you have to switch that thought straight away. It's like, oh, this isn't going right, this isn't going right. What is going right? Start changing the way you look at things. It's like, right, I have a job, I have a partner, I have a roof over my head. So it's just like, I just want to say this because I think you will never see the true benefits to gratitude if you're not consistent with it. And that's just the truth. And I wanted to say that. It's the book Atomic Habits as well. Put the book right beside your locker, or where you're going to be in the morning, where you know you're going to be, for example. So like if it's in the dresser, what's the odds you're going to remember it? You're probably not going to, exactly, you know. So have a visual of your gratitude pad. And I want to say this as well, people think you have to buy a mad special gratitude pad. I'll put up a video of what mine are. Mine are little books from like a Chinese store in Dubai. Just
€2 or something.
Literally, there's nothing special about it at all. They're all like little old type of books. But I plan on having 200 of them by the time I'm dead.
Yeah.
I'm not stopping this till the day I die, you know, because I just know how powerful it is. So for anyone out there, be consistent with it, and then you'll start to see it. Don't take like anything else in life. Don't do it a week. Don't do it a month. Do it a couple of months and write it down. Put your date at the top of the page, what you're grateful for. Affirmations, how you feel about yourself. And watch your world change.
Yeah, I love it. And perspective is everything.
Absolutely everything.
What was the quote you said? Change.
When you change the way you look at things, the things that you look at change.
Yeah, I love it.
All day, every day.
Amazing. So good. I love them ones. They're my favourite. They're really good quotes as well.
Yeah.
But the question that I have at the end here for you as my final question is, what advice would you give to someone from the same area that doesn't really know where they're going and they possibly want to get out of Dublin? Now, I want to say as well, this isn't to shame Dublin or Ireland. I bloody love the place. I love the family. I love everyone, okay? But if you're happy there and you're doing well and you're content and you are grateful for the place you're in, the people that are around you, amazing. But if you are feeling stuck and you feel like maybe the environment, the people that are around you, you do want to change, what advice would you give?
Right, I think I have a good answer for this one.
I'm ready.
So I was in this spot myself in my own life before of wanting to get out of Dublin. I wanted to move on somewhere else and so forth. And I'm going to take it back to that voice that's from within. That voice that was inside of me when I used to be working in my old job, I swear, Ciara, it used to always say to me, you can do more.
Yeah.
You can be more than this. I swear, and I ignored it all the time because I wasn't really fully in tune with myself and saying, what is this thing inside of me speaking to me? I was like, oh, I don't really worry about it. But I never listened to it. But I used to always say, you can be more, Collys. You can do more than this. Are you really pulling the most out of yourself here to be who you can be who you can truly be? And only when I started listening to that voice, everything started to change. So if you're anyone that's at home and you're ignoring and you have ideas inside yourself that you want to put out there, you have to follow that feeling. Literally follow that feeling and wait and see where it brings you. That's probably the number one thing I would say. Start getting in tune with yourself. Start listening to your heart, not your head. And start going after what you know you're capable of. If you think you're capable of doing something, go for it. No, that's not going to happen tomorrow or whatever, instant gratification. Just keep showing up. And I can promise you, you'll get there. Because anyone that puts energy into acting, it will always come back. So follow the feeling within your heart.
I love it. Amazing. And why is it that you had that feeling? Like, what is it in that? Why did you want to get out, if I can put it right?
I just always felt like, same as you, I love Dublin. Family's there, friends is there. It's always going to be home. This might take a minute or two to get into, but so basically when I came to Dubai for the first time, I came on a holiday. Okay, but when I was coming here on a holiday, I wanted to get a coach myself. I was like, I want to get in top shape, someone hold me accountable and so forth. And Mike Thurston was having like a 16-week challenge. I was at home in my apartment. I was cycling on the bike doing faster cardio. And I seen on YouTube, and it wasn't a YouTube video, it was an ad, Mike Thurston VIP coaching. And I says, I'm going to text Mike on Instagram. And I says, fella has 1 million followers. No chance he's going to text me back.
Go for
I
it.
says, hey Mike, I'm coming to Dubai in May. I says, I see you're running a 16-week challenge. I says, this is how I'm looking now. I was kind of chubby at the time. I was like bulking at the time. I says, this is how I can look, just to prove to them that I can get into shape. I says, if I do your 16-week challenge, can we show the results on your channel and can we train together? So I went into work that day, teaching the kids in the playground, playing football with them and so forth. Phone goes off, being Mike Thurston, Dale. I was just like, oh my God. And like, I would be a bit of a fanboy of Mike.
Yeah.
Like, I was watching Mike Thurston's YouTube channel, I mean, for years, you know? And just, I don't want to cut across too much, like, but I used to always say to myself when I was watching his channel, when I had 1,000 followers on Instagram, I was just like, I'm going to be on that channel one day. Yeah. I know I am. And I didn't know how, because Mike only collabs with like people with 500k followers. Plus, Mike's one of the biggest guys in the fitness industry and so forth. Nicest dude ever. It's mad to think, right? Just, I'll continue the story. Big fanboy of Mike. Now friends with the fella. Do you know what I mean? Train with him in Benus and so forth. Not, like the most humble guy you'll come across. But he voice noted me. I was like, oh my God, he voice noted me.
Let me see what this says.
Little fanboy moment or whatever. And he's like, yeah, Dale sounds good or whatever. So that's it. Trained for 16 weeks. Came to Dubai, met Mike, done the video with him up on YouTube. I was like, what an experience and so forth. And there and then, I was like, I have to live here. Yeah. And I was still working in my old job. I was coaching at the time. I was only kind of starting off, a couple of months in or whatever. I was like, I have to move here. So it was May. And I was like, I'm out. I'm going for this. It's telling me in my heart. So every day, right? So every day I woke up, I was like, I could see the marina view in the apartment. Every night when I was going to sleep, I could see it in my head. I could see it. I swear, so visual. I could see it every single day. And so nervous about like leaving my full-time job. That was probably the scariest part. And we live in Dublin. There's a homeless crisis. It was there before I left, and there's still a homeless crisis now. I knew when I left that apartment, if I don't make this work, I'm going back to my man's box room. Yeah. I am not getting an apartment. Doesn't matter how much money you have. It's so hard to get a home or rent a home in Ireland, in Dublin. So I was like, I have to make this work. So I was like, the days were gone by, and I was just like saying I'm going to go. And then I was like, oh, will I though? And everything else. And the self-doubt was coming in. And I was like, rang me boss, Emer. I was like, Emer, hey, I'm finishing up. Rang the agent, the letting agency. Hey, yeah, I'm going in September. I'm gone. It's done. I'm out of here. So September, so only May. So it's like 3-4 months later, went all in, and like here we are now in Dubai. Wow. Everything worked out more than I ever could have imagined. And I was just like, because I just want to say this as well, take the risk.
Go for it.
Go for it. What's the worst that can happen? You know, like I can't look at me and you sitting here right now. Still can't believe the life that I have to this very day. Every day I pinch myself. I really mean that. And all because I took that risk from the secure income job and the rent that I had, that reasonable rent in Dublin. I was just like, you only live once, go for it, you know? So
I think there's no perfect moment either, so stop waiting for it. If you're waiting for Monday, you'll never start. If you're waiting for a perfect time after an event to start, you'll never do it. And there will come a time in your life where you're going to have a regret. And time goes by way too fast to not go for everything. Like, and if someone says no, rejection is great. Yeah. Go and find it somewhere else. I listened to a podcast and they said knock on 1,000 doors and you'll get one back.
Of course you will.
And the one that you get back will open up another 2,000. I actually remember, just to finish up as well, I actually remember I outreached and emailed Pretty Little Thing, Misguided, ASOS, these multi-billionaire companies, and I was like, I have this page. I think I was going down the influencer route. I think I had about 2,000 followers. I was like, I can do this, I can do that. And I think I spent like 8 hours one day emailing every single company in the world, and not one got back. Not one. And I was like, right, okay, you obviously have a little bit of doubt. You feel shit. It's like going for a job role. You apply for all these jobs. Oh, I didn't get it. I feel crap. Like that was a joke. Something else is going to open. Another door opens. If one closes, another opens.
Always, Ciara.
You know?
Always. You have to believe that.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Yeah.
Every door that shuts, the window opens somewhere else. And you're going to be in a position where you said, I'm glad that door shut. Yeah. Because look where I am now, you know?
Mm-hmm. And I think if you don't ask, you'll never know.
Literally, Mike Thurston's story, like, just asked.
There you go.
Literally.
But change your life.
Literally, in every way, shape or form. That's why I'm here right now, like living here and everything else, being on his channel, got to be here. I was like, just because I asked a question. And
wow, it's just amazing. And I think I had a bit of imposter syndrome as well when I was starting up this podcast. I was like, who would want to come on and sit and talk to me? In my head a little bit, and I was like, what am I talking about? I was like, I love chatting to people. This is what I love doing. This is exciting to me. I love it. It's so good. I feel so energized after this. I'm like ready to go back and just do a full day of work now. I feel great. I was actually terrified to ask Mark Holtz. I was like, he's not going to come on. I was like, I'll ask. And he was like, Ciara, I'm so honoured that you've asked me. And I was like, what? And he was like, the person that you're becoming. And he really did reassure me. He actually texted me when the episode went live, and he said to me, Ciara, you know, I've been doing podcasts years. I said, yeah, I've listened nearly to all his episodes. He's got like 700 episodes. I've literally listened to them all. And he was like, you know, that was one of my favourite episodes that I've done. And he's honest. He will tell me the truth always, you know. And he was like, you asked me some very deep questions that really got my mind thinking. And he was like, thank you so much. I'm really grateful for that. And I was like, I actually gave him something back by him coming on. So you always gain either side, no matter what.
100%. We can even finish on this note. It's like, it's self-proof, Ciara. Look what you've built. You have your own clothing brand. You have a podcast. You have a successful business. You have staff. Do you know what I mean? How did that happen? All of that through hard work. So whenever you have that self-doubt, you're like, well, look what I'm after doing. And the only way you or anyone else is going to do that is by putting thought to action. Proving to yourself. Because the way it works is, in my mind, and I think it's for most people, your brain needs physical proof. So like affirmations are great, and they're saying I am successful and all these things. But are you though? Do you know what I mean? Start putting some steps in place. And next time when something hard comes up, your brain's going to be like, fuck, he's after it again.
Yeah.
He's going to do this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He's not going to stop. Do you know what I mean? Because you have the practical proof. So always keep proving to yourself in a practical manner with your thoughts, and then everything on task that comes forward starts to get a bit easier.
Yeah, it's confirmation and proof and belief. You can do this. For sure. But I'll make it a deal.
Go on.
Right, to finish out the podcast, I really do hope that everyone enjoyed this and definitely got something from it. I've really enjoyed it. It was amazing. So thank you so much. But I'll make it a deal. 28th of February. It is now. 28th of February, Wednesday, 2024. I'll re-interview you next year. 28th of February, 2025. And I can guarantee you both sides will have doubled. We'll be two totally different people living a transformative life, even in comparison to where we are now. And I'll make that a promise to you.
Absolutely. I'm all in. Thanks so much for having me on, Ciara. Honestly, first podcast I've ever done, and such deep thought conversation. It's just so amazing to have. So I just want to say thank you to you. Thanks so much.
No problem. Thanks so much, guys. And if you've got any comments or anything, you can find Collys over on Instagram. I'll leave the handle below. Any questions at all, please do pop them below, and we'll pop some books as well and some ideas for people that will help in the comment section too. But thank you so much for watching, and we will see you on the next one.